What up, Rodders? You know who it is. You know what time it is. Your boy Savage, aka Sev Cisneros. You tuning in to Sev Lokes Hood Tales 2.0. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Let's get to the politic. Big shout out to everybody showing the channel love. Appreciate the love and support. Thank you for the interactions. Mall high salute to all the riders out there. Before I start this video, let me make this clear. I am no way means promoting gang life, gang culture. I'm just telling a testimony, giving some life experiences, shining some light on the Denver Metro. So with that being said, let's get to this video. And in this video, I want to talk about a Crip hood that rooted out of the boundaries of Crippin'. When you hear about Crippin' in Denver, you're going to hear about the east side and you're going to hear about everything east. East Denver all the way to Montbello, Aurora, you're going to have Crip hoods. But you ain't never going to hear about Northside Crips, right? And that's why it's so interesting, because the gang that I'm talking about, their roots are from North Denver. And why it's interesting is because North Denver really didn't have open arms to Crippin', because a lot of Crips weren't over there. So when I first heard about this gang, and the gang I'm talking about is OGC, Original Gangsta Crips, I was like, what? Northside Crips? And fools were like, yeah, bro, there's a handful of them fools, and they put in work. And I never came across OGCs till I moved to, West Denver. Now, one thing about the OGCs is they were rooted in the north side of Denver, but they spread all the way to the west. So now you have two cars of OGCs. You have the north side OGCs and you have the west side OGCs. And they ride under the OGC umbrella. It's OGC before, anything else. I have relations with some of the OGCs. I know a handful of them fools. And I can vouch and say, honestly, I done seen them fools hold their own in aspect that is not the norm, because when you go to the north side, there's not really a big Crip presence. They're probably the only north side Crip hood. Now you got north side criminals, but OGCs bang Keyway. West side OGCs bang Keyway. So, another thing is they're hated by many different hoods, because of the simple fact is, they're the only, like in the north side, they're one of two hoods that bang blue rags. All the rest of the north side, they bang different color rags, and a lot of NSMs bang red rags. So, it's not a norm to see blue in the north. West side, it's not a norm to see blue because the Bloods got it sold up, and then you have the G's, but predominantly in the west side, you're going to have a lot more blood. So to see any kind of Crippin', it's a eye opener. Them eye busters, you know what I'm saying? You see a fool in the west side come down the block blue ragged up, fools automatically notice that. And one thing I could say about the OGCs is the fools I know from the start, they've always been active. They've always had to be active, but there was a handful of OGCs that I was kicking with at one time that every single one of them, they front lined. And when I mean front line, they got out there set tripping. So when I was going to a little summer school, my mom moved to the west side, low income housing, and I was going to this summer school to go get my grades up. And when I got to the summer school, there was this little youngster over there, and he was Crip down. And I thought he might have been a chickie 30 or something. And I asked homie what hood he was from. He was like, "This is OGC, cuz." And he was pressing lines, beating fools up. So I said, "OGC, I never heard of that." So I tapped in with some chickie 30 fools, and they were like, "Yeah, OGCs, we got family that are OGCs." Come to find out, the OGCs and the chickie 30s, they have ties. At times, they ride as one, especially on the compounds. So that was the first vouch from the east side chickie 30s. They vouched for them fools. And then I started going to Jefferson High School. And if you know anything about Jefferson High School, majority of Jefferson High School was a lot of West Side influence, a lot of West Side Bloods, a lot of West Side G's. So if you were from the East Side and you had the identity of Crippin, you was already had a target on your back. But when I got up there, some fool was like, "Yeah, there's another Crip up here, the homie Siri." And I was like, "Yeah." And then basically I ran into this fool, and you know what I'm saying, he was straight OGC putting it down. So being on that side of town, he started introducing, you know what I'm saying, his homies to me, and we used to actually start kicking together and partying. And at one time, the OGCs in my circle of homies, we actually functioned pretty tough. And in doing that, they had a lot of beefs with a lot of like different hoods on this side of Denver. We took on a lot of their beef, so we got into quite a bit over the OGCs. But I could tell you like this. There was never no questions asked with them fools. They put in work. Later down the road, a lot of them fools got locked up. And when I got to the penitentiary, it was kind of interesting because half of the OGCs that were on the streets, they always intertwined with like Northside Denver fools. So there was a couple situations with a couple of the OGCs. The Crips had got into it with some Northside fools, and a couple of them OGCs, they had to choose, and they got a domino effect of pretty much choosing the North over Crippin'. But then you have some of the official riders, and they kept it all the way Crippin'. It didn't matter. And it was crazy. But yeah, man, them little dudes, I can honestly say, just having experiences with them fools and being in the trenches with them fools, they kept it 100% all the way around for the most part. I know different down the road stuff had, fallouts and different things, but for the most part, they're bona fide fools that were riding for, the keyways on the north and west, and they had a lot of beefs, and they were battle prone. And there was bits and times that, we all rode together, like I said, and it would be big old functions with the chickies, the G's, because they had ties to the G's. Our circle and the OGCs would all be kicking with each other. So fools kind of moved as one unit, because the simple fact is just that's how the politics were on that side of town. I could remember one time the OGC fools had a house on 16th and Perry with some of the G's, and it got so bad for fools in that neighborhood. Them fools were so scared to come in that vicinity because fools were securing the block, running out on fools, making fools go all the way around, beating fools up. And those was, some solid homies. Now, a lot of times the OGCs, I'll say it like this to be truthful, they got overlooked because of where they're from, and the bigger Crip cars are going to get more of the attention when it comes to Crippin', and the OGCs were just Mexicanos and Mexican fools pushing Crip, so they got overlooked. But knowing them fools personally, very active, and they held their own, and they rode, and they got the respect, especially from me. Like a handful of them fools are riders, so big shout out to the OGC fools, the real ones. Mile high salute to you fools. You know what it is. Let's go.